Well, hello and welcome to Hello Chaos, a weekly podcast exploring the messy and chaotic lives and minds of founders, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Each week, I do get the privilege to speak with founders across the spectrum, founders from different industries at different stages, from startups to mature businesses of all shapes and sizes. Our listeners get to hear the real, the raw, the unvarnished, and unfiltered stories and viewpoints, getting incredible insights on what it takes to start and scale a business, to become a better founder, a better CEO, or just a better business leader in the community. Today, we have on our show, I'm thrilled because she's such a good friend of mine. I can't wait to hear all the ins and outs because I don't know the full journey. But today we've got Cecilia Zapata-Harms, co-founder and CEO of InnovaSphere, headquartered right here in South Carolina. Welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this.
I know we've been looking forward to having you on.
We've been trying to get together for so long and get this podcast going. I know.
Should have just videoed us at doing cocktails and just letting it roll.
Can you imagine? That would have been fun, actually.
Oh, we should do that. We should record at our next little. We need to do our 2025. Like it's New Year. We need to do our first year kind of cocktail session.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we should just pop in. I've
yeah.
got the app on my phone. We can just record our
Yay!
lovely.
Yay!
That'll be a bonus episode.
Okay, that sounds good.
Bonus episode. All
Don't
right.
judge us with what we wear and what we say and what we
That's
do on that
right. Yeah.
particular day.
Exactly. Because you never know where that conversation, especially if we get Lilia in the mix
Oh
too.
my gosh. Yeah. Give her a couple of palomas and I think we'll good.
That's right. Well, start us out.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out, Lilia. So start us out. Tell everybody, and for me too. Like I don't really know your full founder journey. So why? Like, how did you get into entrepreneurship and coming to found and start what this Palmetto InnovaSphere, or as we call it, just InnovaSphere? So tell us that.
Oh my gosh, the origin story. Well,
The origin story.
In the beginning. All right. Well, so I think I probably have always had in me, growing up as a child, some sort of entrepreneurial DNA. Because even my mother says this, where she's like, when you were little, you used to cut out these little paper dolls and make dresses and things, cutouts, like I'd draw them and cutouts, and then take a shoebox and then draw scenery or some sort of retail something. So
you made your own storefront.
I did.
And you're like, and the storefront needs customers. So I'm going to make my own
it
customer.
needs customers. Yes, exactly. So apparently I've always had something like that. Or I would negotiate with my grandfather on, if you give me a nickel so I can go downstairs to the local corner candy store, I will feed the chickens or something like that. I negotiated certain things. So and this is something that I just remembered a while back of the origin story. So in some way, entrepreneurial has always been in my DNA, like I said. And I say, in our early years of growing up and in school, there's always been occasions where I would participate in some sort of new projects, new things, always volunteering, raising my hand to do some stuff.
See, mine was the curiosity bug. I never thought I would be in a business or start a business, which I know you might go, what? That was never a dream, never even a thought. But my brain gets like, I was always one that, ooh, I want to learn about that. Ooh, I'm so curious about that.
Yeah.
Let me break it apart. Let me see how that stuff functions and works. And
Well, see, this is why you're a great partner. You know why? Yeah. Because for me, I'm the one that's the, well, what if we do it this way? Or what if we create something new that would have this way? So
Right.
I'm always doing that ever since as a child. And so I think it's always been there.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of carried on through my career.
Right. So, what was the spark behind that? What inspired you to start Palmetto InnovaSphere?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a longer
Because it's
story.
because it's new. I mean,
It,
it's a new brand that you guys launched in the last like 12 months.
yeah.
So, I mean, here you've spanned a pretty incredible career, mostly in life science, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life science, bioscience,
hmm
in the very like my brain hurts to think about the things that you guys have in, and I work with a lot of those companies, but I have to use a lot, I call it a lot of brain sweat to really pick apart those industries to go, how do I find the friction? How do I help solve their marketing problem, their brand problem? But you're in it like the product development, and how do you take this idea to market? And my brain does not work that way in the life science bioscience
Oh my
sphere.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Um,
Well, so the Palmetto and Ovosphere's like structure really is not that new. There's like organizations out there that do very
that
similar things,
okay,
right? But what's the extreme difference really is that those other organizations, obviously they've been around for a long
right.
time, but they're very closely tied to academic centers
Oh,
or other organizations, mainly universities and
like mostly,
academic centers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas Palmetto and Novosphere is really a freestanding,
Mm,
and freestanding in that, but it's still very, I'd say it brings in everybody together and brings it as a community. And I know the word community can get really broad,
right.
but it's really bringing all the stakeholders to ensure that the companies that are in the life science space, especially if they're a startup,
Mm,
are successful in whatever form that success looks like.
right. And really kind of that the sphere of it, of that community, is applying the right resources at the right time.
Yes,
And that
exactly.
and that how that so how did you guys come to form that structure? Like, did you guys see a gap in life science?
Oh, for sure.
What is that gap? What was the problem that you
Well,
saw?
so first of all, most entrepreneurs are in the life science space. I mean, they go at it alone.
Yeah,
Even if when they start to do their, when they start their company, they think,
right.
okay, I'm the scientist, I'm gonna start a company and I'm gonna do this. And it's a lot harder, we believe, in
Yeah,
the life science space because there's so
the
many different,
complexity.
yes,
Oh,
the complexity of it. And also, the struggle is very real and it's longer. It's a
right.
longer duration to even see any kind of return on investment, put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
We're not manufacturing, screwdrivers or anything like that or developing widgets. It's really, there's a lot to it. And every stage of this company is almost like an experiment. Experiment as in like you're taking the outcome of one and then, okay, now it's time to do the other
Because
one. And
it's
that's why
all
it takes so
research.
long.
Most of it
Yeah,
is research
it
based,
is.
of like
Yep.
cancer treatments, and you know, or things that are like apps or devices that are helping to solve kind of more healthcare life science,
Yep. Yep.
biomedical, um,
Digital
which
health is another
digital,
one. I mean,
yeah,
technology, software engineers, but when you get into the healthcare side of things, it's a little bit more challenging, right? And
yeah,
it's a very different audience altogether. But our overall goal really is to make sure that these innovative companies and
mm,
therapies and whatever they are gets to the patients faster. It takes a long
yeah,
time to get
it
anything,
does,
right? So
yeah,
gets to the patients faster, which means they have better access to treatments, which means better outcomes, right? We're
right, it's
become
better, yeah.
healthier and yeah. Yeah.
Making that work fast, because
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, we talked to thousands of founders and entrepreneurs, and that's kind of the you hit the nail on the head of, it's already hard enough when people go, I have this idea, I see this gap, and I can apply that solution, whether they are a coder developer, or they are a chemist with like some skincare or makeup or hair care. But when you go into like the bioscience and medical research side, it does get a lot more complex. And like you said, it's hard enough just to figure out how to run a business, how to create the brand, like what is the product, and then all those level stages. So it doesn't seem like there was a lot of other communities or connectors for entrepreneurs in the life science space. Am I
Yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of associations, but
yeah,
it seems like those are membership driven, not
yeah.
necessarily we're here to help you get resources where you need to apply them.
Well, and that's actually the unique thing about us is because we are very much, and I call it this, we're intimately involved in the
Mm,
company.
yeah.
And so it's almost like a Vulcan mind meld
Yeah.
in Star Trek. It's really we go to the founders, we go to the innovators, and we
Right.
do the mind meld because we need
Yeah.
to understand exactly what they want to achieve so that we can better support them. And that's the big difference. We're
Yeah.
very hands on and very intimately involved.
Is it like um is it similar to like how a private equity or a venture firm would come in and give them kind of fractional support, or do you guys are even more unique and different than those kind of groups be, because of the complexities of the medical and life
Well,
science?
private equity firms or any other organizations like them, they invest in the companies, right? So
Right,
they have one goal in mind is to make sure that those companies are successful so
right.
they can get the return on investment, what have you. We're the complement to that
Yeah,
because
okay,
they themselves can't be, you know, all the time involved with the scientists and the
right.
decision making and the milestones.
Or what
So
we've heard from other founders in the space that do have like some kind of investor company, they don't get it.
yeah,
They don't understand the complexity
yeah,
and the stages that you have to go into, and the different audiences and the channel to
yeah,
it to sell in to
yeah.
through to the patient.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah. What they term that the translational part of things from bench to bedside is basically
uh
what it is. So it's that translation across the board. Not one organization can
can
really do that, and so you need certain sections, which is one of the reasons why InnovaSphere as a sphere
right.
has all these key stakeholders because everybody has to be a part of that translation side of things.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. So you guys really did see us, because there's not, if there are other organizations out there, there's probably not enough to support
Correct. Yeah.
the
And
life
everybody has a
science.
different model, you know. I mean, the one
Yeah.
in Switzerland is exactly they call themselves a translational research organization, but their models are very different. Ours is really, I think, ours is really unique in that
Yeah.
all the key stakeholders is really a part of it.
Yeah. Cause yeah, we were trying to look for other models like that. And we're like, it's, we're kind of creating our own,
Yeah,
and
we are.
like how to talk about it
Yeah.
in that manner. So, okay, I'm fascinated to hear like the answer to this next question. So you've co-founded this. You're also the CEO. You're running this.
Hmm.
You're supporting the companies in your sphere, right? The
Hmm.
pipeline, but you're also trying to run the organization, which you have to get funding
No.
yourself. Like
So, yeah.
how are you wearing those two hats? Um,
It's not easy. I mean, I
mm-mm.
tell you, being an entrepreneur, and you know this too, it's not for the faint of heart. And
No,
a lot of
uh-uh.
people really, it takes a certain personality. It takes some
It's some
some
grit.
some grits. Yes,
Yes, some
yes.
grits.
The other day I was asking I think it was just yesterday, I was asking my husband, I said, so what does bollocks mean really in swearing words in the British way? And he says, balls.
Yeah.
You gotta help. You gotta
You
have that.
you
You gotta
gotta have
have
it. That's right.
bullocks. It sounds nicer when you say bullocks.
That's right.
To really to sorry, this is just
No, I love
feel
it.
about it. It it it's challenging,
Yeah.
especially for a woman-founded company. If you're a woman and you're a founder and you're an
Oh,
entrepreneur,
yeah.
there are challenges. It's getting better,
Right.
for sure, but we still need to change that lever.
Yeah, and I know national, like across industries, it's very difficult for women, and we don't appear a lot in a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
What is it like in life science, bioscience? Um, are there more women in that space, but
Believe
yet
it or not, yes. So
okay,
there
but yet
there
not able to get that elevation?
yeah.
So at least there's
More and
yeah.
more women in the life sciences have founded or co-founded
Mm.
companies. More and more. Um, but it started later in the
Yeah,
decades, right? We probably started
like
seeing it in the 90s, early 2000s. But that's very recent. That's just in
yeah,
the last 20 years. Prior to that, it's all been very
absent.
male dominated. Yeah.
And is it and from a funding and or um, national stats of like for investment and funding, women um, across all
2%.
colors and ethnicities, it's 2%. Is
Yeah.
it the same in life science, or is it like higher than indexed? Like, or is
Probably
it
a
the
little
same?
higher than indexed. I think that the challenge for in life science for women founders is really to be in front of the right
Mm,
people and the right investors.
yeah.
I think there's in the life science space, especially if it's biotech or therapeutic, there's a little more uh, availability for some of these
Mm.
funding partners because they look at the science more than they look at any other
Who's running it?
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. We still need
Lot.
to elevate and push. We gotta,
Yeah, and just to answer, how do you do it, right? How do you like wear the CEO hat and then
yeah,
have to, part of us being a CEO is really trying to look for funding, right?
right.
Ideally, if I could, if I can find a sugar daddy, to be-
Or sugar mama. Let's look
sugar
for
mama, and then I would be more than happy to
yeah,
to to do that. But these things are hard, and you do have to
yeah,
talk to a lot of people, and you
yeah,
have to be okay with talking to a lot of people, and you
yeah.
have to have kind of like duck feathers, right? Just
Right.
roll it off because there's going to
Well,
be a lot of no's.
have you when you've walked into the city, we've talked to several like female founders who have talked very openly about when they've walked into a boardroom and they are sitting around like a 30, person table of investors, and they're all men in their 60s, and they're trying to come up, and it's in the healthcare space or and they're like they can't even relate to my story, or so they've changed their strategies of who they're going, what boardrooms are they entering into so that they have a better chance of being um, accepted or
Big,
even
yeah,
heard or listened
or
to.
listen
have
to.
have you faced any of that?
Oh, sure. I
um,
mean, yeah, many many times. From a strategy perspective, I think through the years, I basically tell myself before and knowing ahead of time who's going to be in the room because you
right,
usually do, and even if you don't, right, and you're surprised,
right,
you
you're just
usually you just kind of go with it. But what I have learned is, all right, if I was a man,
right.
gotta
What
channel.
would I do?
Yeah, what would
That's
I
right.
do? What would I say? How do I behave?
Right,
And still show my feminine side of things, right? And how
right.
a woman would speak. And that's my trick is
That's the win-win.
I always tell myself, it's like, all right, channel the testosterone because
That's
it's gonna be
that's right.
one of those. So you just
Yeah,
do it. Yeah.
yeah. Um, what have you discovered most about yourself as you've kind of entered this space Have you learned anything like self-discovery of, I'm now wearing these two hats. I'm found, we're solving problems at a scale that's pretty spectacular of what you guys have founded. Has there
Yes.
has there anything that you've learned about yourself during this like period?
I think, well, first of all, grateful for the fact that through the decades of my professional career had taken me here, right?
Yeah.
And I always said that I was being paid to learn back
Yeah.
then, and so grateful for that, and acknowledging that, okay, you can do
That
this. This is
that path
yeah,
paved a good path for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think probably the more recent discovery is really um, seeing my resiliency,
Hmm.
um, in that, um, learning to sort of like, okay, I can't take that one personally, you
Right.
know, or also just keep going, because if you really truly see the vision, that
Yeah.
you keep going. I mean, there's that resiliency and tenacity to really keep moving forward
That's right.
despite what any other people would say to you, right? Or if they see you as a competitor or
Right.
whatever, it's like whatever. There's
Or why are you
plenty for
doing
everybody.
this?
Yes,
Why are
yeah.
you doing this? Yeah.
There's plenty
Uh,
for everybody, and it's a lot.
that's
And
right.
if anything, it's like yeah, we're gonna keep
Hey,
doing what we're doing.
here's the thing. Here's what I learned too. Of I don't know if you have faced this, but when you're entering a space where it's void of a lot of competition, but that category, that market needs it. There, you've done something when the very limited resources that are in that space start getting their feathers ruffled.
Oh yeah,
You've done something.
yeah,
I was like, we always joked around over when you get your cease and desist.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you've done
yeah,
something.
yeah. You hit something. You hit
You've
something
hit
that's really needed. Yeah,
right,
yeah, for
right.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
that
Yeah.
that's what I was like when we did that with Orange Whip of like, oh, okay, you have no basis for it, but we see your weakness. Like
Yeah,
we found you.
yeah. We found you. We gotcha. Yeah.
We got you. What's been the most rewarding part?
Seeing the formation of the structure and seeing with each of the individuals or groups of people that I'm in front of, that
Mm,
when the aha moment, and it's pretty quick lately,
yeah,
when I see it in their eyes,
that they get it.
that they get
They
it,
get it.
it's
Mm,
like that's been the most rewarding, because
yeah.
it's like, okay, great.
You see the
You
problem
see
we're
the problem.
solving. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, so what do you think has been, I mean, you've talked about some challenges, but what's been the biggest like, oh shit moment that you've had so far?
And through this journey, or through the
Yeah.
entire lifespan of Cecilia Zapata-Harms?
Well, I'm curious of, do you have like a story of a huge oh shit like in your journey? But then more specifically, have you felt one yet within the InnovaSphere?
I have not felt one yet,
Okay, so
believe it or
tell me
not.
one about that's awesome.
Yeah,
Let's hope it stays that way.
yeah, yeah, believe
What
it or
about you
not.
for in your other paths of like, because some of that might have been you learned something to then, okay, I can't let that happen again.
Yes.
All right, so tell me about that one.
Well, I think the that particular story was probably early entrepreneurial endeavor.
Mm.
Uh, so, I'm laughing because this is a total oh shit moment. So, so I love gardening. I even
Okay.
have a master's in gardening, like
Ah,
a
of course you do.
certificate, of course, right? Like master's certification in horticulture, you know. And so I had thought at one point, this is, oh my gosh, just many, many decades ago. I had thought that, okay, I'm going to open my own little nursery we had acreage, a couple of acres back then, and a little nursery, and do a little landscaping, and, you know, starting things from seed and selling them, and it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Then I realized, oh shit! In order for me to make money,
I'll have to
to produce a lot of plants.
when you actually make the business plan and
Yes,
go,
yes.
the numbers aren't adding up to the
No.
lifestyle that I would like to have.
Well, not only that, but so I started doing it on weekends, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll work full time and I'll do this. You know, you read a lot about
Yeah,
you can work full time and
you
kind
can
of
do
until
this.
you can grow.
Get your
Yeah,
gig.
sure, get your gig. So did that, and then realizing that that's not. But here's the other aha moment, the oh shit moment is like you spend a lot of time outside, and I'm like, I can't be outside all the time. Rain,
Well,
snow, sun, you name it. And
yeah,
it wasn't my thing. And that
unless you live like in an island and
exactly.
you're
It's not
you know
my personality. I mean, I love the outdoors and I love to hike and all that stuff, but it's not my thing. And so what the heck? So
that was like the self-discovery of, oh, I don't even like weather. Like,
exactly. Exactly. And mind you, it was just one of those. I mean, it was a great try. I did it for a year.
you
I
learn that about yourself.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
yes. But I
Um,
think the most important lesson there, as I look back now, being in this lovely seasoned age of ours, is really that you have to listen to what your gut is telling you,
yeah,
because your body tells you. Your body
yeah,
tells you when you're not on the right path,
right.
and you
Either
kind of have to listen to that.
I so agree with you. Of like, it's not just the um, business choices
No,
or like the category. It's also in the people and the that you surround yourself with, like the energy. You can feel
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like when
yep,
it's off,
yep,
and there you got to make it. And so, yeah,
yep.
trust
I'm having
trust your instincts, people.
exactly. I'm having this one little moment right now. No, not right now, but to this week. This week has been. There's one where I'm gonna have to cut the cord,
Ah,
and so it's yeah. So, but be okay with it because you know
right,
we are very committed to making sure everybody's taken care of and
right.
successful. But it's okay. I think that's the other lesson. It's okay to cut the cord.
Yeah. Well, and because it's either not serving, you well, if it's a, personal thing, or if it's not serving the company and other people,
Yeah.
as the leader of that company, you got to protect everybody.
Yes. Absolutely.
And sometimes that means not everybody is going to help you get to the next level, which I heard from, I don't know if you heard this phrase, the, new level, new devil. So
Oh,
have you ever heard?
yes.
I was like, I always had talked about like every time you hit another kind of phase or stage, it it's more challenges that you've got to like the larger you grow, go from 5 people to then 20 people. That's a big kind of phase that you've got to then different systems, different operations. You go from, 20 people to 100 people. Again, it's different systems, different and probably different people. um and the mentality of, I don't know if and you probably have seen this in your other corporate, like your journey, um of working in larger corporations, of there's people that have I call it the startup or scale up mindset,
Yeah.
and then you have people that are the sustainers,
Yeah.
and you can't bring a sustainer mentality into a startup or a scale up stage because they don't know how to create the systems.
Right.
But once a system's in place, they will sustain it. But they are not adaptable or agile. They just don't have. So that was something that was an aha for me. I had to learn of as we were growing our company, and then all of a sudden we would like, these people are like, I don't understand. They've got so much experience and
Mm-hmm.
they've got the right personality, but we were in a scale up mentality, like and they just couldn't perform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of my, talking with another founder. They're like, oh no, you can't put people who've spent 30 years in larger corporations, they've never had to create the
That's right.
system,
Right.
and they will fail every time.
That's right.
Um,
And that's, I mean, that's okay because everybody has a role to play.
right.
We're all made very differently, and
Right.
and our I mean, we're not all cookie cutter, and I
Right.
think successes of companies are based on different stages. I think the other
Mhm.
thing also for founders to, we have this dream to find found a
Right.
company and then take it all the way through. We have to be okay with the fact that there's a certain stage where we kind of have to let it go.
The because not and be okay with
And yeah,
failure, and also teach that founder of the you shouldn't you should be okay with failure. Failure just means you're learning the lesson for the next idea.
yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
have that freedom to
Yeah,
fail.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is so hard.
And giving yourself permission to go through it, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
really at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But of
that's right.
course, at the juncture of startup and scale up,
Right.
it's very exciting.
You're
And
like, "Ooh, we're doing
ooh,
this."
yeah, exactly.
Then you're like, "Yeah, this is not a good venture.
Yeah.
This is not gonna work."
Yeah.
Um, what's the best thing, or the thing that you love most about yourself that you wished other people recognized more about you?
Oh, that's a hard question. What's the say it again? Say it again.
So, what's the
Ooh,
thing
little
that you
searching here. Ooh.
I know.
Ah.
Well, I told you
Uh,
I do have some zingers.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's the thing that you love most about yourself that you wish other people recognized?
Uh I think okay, I'm like, okay, she's welcoming, she's warm, she's open. Looking at myself on the other,
Yeah.
not fully maybe understanding the how much the experience or valuing the experience that I've had through the years. I think
Uh,
there's a and I don't know what it is exactly, but I think people judge all the time, right? And
right.
so I
They're
think
making assumptions.
yes, that's it.
Uh-huh.
That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you. They're making an assumption that, well, what does she know? Or she's never been a CEO. Well, you don't know
Right.
that. Right?
Right. Right. Right.
And so those are that I think would be the thing that I would love to maybe showcase more. I'm not
Yeah.
a bragger, Jennifer. I
I know.
don't. I
I
don't.
know. We're how do we humbly brag about ourselves?
Yeah.
Because it's really not that we're confident, right?
Right.
Um, but we also want to build trust and credibility
Yeah.
quickly,
Exactly. Exactly.
quickly.
And it's also, it's like there's more to this person than what you just
Right.
seeing. And so yeah, yeah. Give the person credit for all the things that
That's
person has
right.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of female founders, I think we all feel that way.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of female CEOs that aren't just, not founded the business, but they have stepped into some higher leadership. I Because I remember that from my corporate days of like every time I would enter into a, higher role, there were always people that were going to drag you down, right?
Mhm.
Somebody always said, like, the higher you go, just be ready for people to throw stones at you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Exactly. I will
and
add something to this topic though, and it has
yeah,
nothing to do with the what I want people to see. It has more to do with um like I already know what it looks like 5
on the
years
other,
on the other
yeah,
side. Like I could
yeah.
see it. My challenge is sometimes I get a little impatient when people don't see what I'm
Like, why don't
seeing.
you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah. And so it comes, and perhaps, sometimes it may come out a little grumpy on my end, or I may have this look on my face is like, you stupid idiot, why aren't you
Yeah.
seeing what I'm seeing, kind of thing. But
Right.
really, I mean,
We have no poker face.
no, no,
No.
we don't, we really
Yes, I
don't.
have to sometimes put myself off camera immediately. Like Chandler's laughing because he's like, "Yeah, you have no chill, like none." He's like, uh,
Yeah, no, totally. People say they're like, you could tell in your facial expression that you're just,
yeah,
you could be smiling, but you're like really
right.
screaming
I
inside.
try, I try really
Yeah.
hard, but people that do know, I have some micro tells, which I'll just tell a funny. I'll give a shout out to my. I've got some in-laws. I've got a brother-in-law and a few nieces that apparently at Christmas or no, at Thanksgiving, we were all together in Indiana. And I have a very large in law family, like 70 of us together at Thanksgiving. And
Wow.
my brother in law, who is Irish, grew up in Ireland, he looks like a little leprechaun. Uh, so, Joseph, this is for you. Shout out to you. He's like, I watch your podcast. Oh, I was like, "You do?" And he said, "I love it." And I said, "Do you listen to it like the Spotify or so?" And he goes, "No, I watch it on YouTube." He goes, "It's my favorite. I've made a drinking game out of it with." And I was like, "You've done what?" And he said, "Like me," and he named off a couple of my, nieces. He was like, "Well, we sit around. Your podcast has become a drinking game for us because we get really excited. There are a few expressions that you make, and we all wait for it in the podcast." I was like, "Well, what do I do?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to tell you that because then."
Oh no! Now I'm gonna have to watch it on
No, I
YouTube.
was like, "What?" And I said, he goes, "Every time you have the same facial, you use them 2 or 3 times." And he goes, "And it's our drinking game." He was like, "We turn it on about 5 o'clock. It's cocktail hour, and we watch your podcasts on like a Monday or Tuesday, and it kicks us off for the week, because
Oh
he's
my
he's in
gosh!
his 70s, retired, but yeah, he's doing his vodka cranberries to my facial expressions.
That's funny. Hopefully you didn't have one, Chandler.
I
You need to
know.
tell me. Did she have one during this
And I
podcast?
was like, I don't even know what the facial expression is that he's drinking to.
Oh
He'll
gosh!
need to pop in and tell us.
Yeah,
But there
yeah.
you go. Shout out, Joseph.
Shut up.
So okay, so I'm curious. So you're also, it's just fascinating to me because you've had all this like corporate um experience
Mm.
being at very high leadership positions. You've now founded your own organization that's kind of unique, and it's a very different structure. Um, because supporting basically startups and scale ups in the life science space,
Huh?
which then you've got to also, are you finding that you have to, I mean, you're hand holding them while at the same time you're learning kind of you're experiencing foundership and all like the startup and scale up woes yourself. Do you guys have like sessions where you guys just talk about the like therapy sessions around what it means to
Yeah.
start a business
Oh,
and help them through building their resilience, helping them with grit and perseverance? I mean, do you sense that from them? And what are they telling you as like their biggest challenges and their biggest like mental angst?
um, well, okay. So first of all, because we're
I know
so
that was
no,
like a lot
no,
of.
no, no. I love the question. I think the beauty of what we have created really is because we are experiencing similar journeys,
Yeah,
right? Even though we've had experience it before,
right,
but we're in this space also of startup scale up. And
right.
so we can really, truly, uh, you know, be with them through
Y-
their journey.
You're
And
relating to them.
exactly. So we understand it. And,
Yeah,
and this comes in, this is what I mean about the sort of like the Vulcan mind meld is because we really do understand what they're going through. I
yeah,
think from, and for the most part, whenever we come in and we're having discussions with them and we talk about some of their anxieties or stresses, and a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with funding. It's
Oh,
mostly
yeah.
all about funding, but also, um, validation of their science
Yeah.
and all that stuff, right? And so by the time we get done with them, it's like you could almost see the body language. It's like the
Mm.
shoulders drop. Somebody
Yeah.
understands us. Okay, I think, we can actually work with these people, all that, all those things. And again, not everybody is on the same stage,
Right.
but there is a common ground for each one of them. A lot to do
Mm.
with funding, of course, but also, um just being able to, like, oh, we can actually have somebody help us with our strategy.
Right.
That's
Right.
great,
Yeah.
so yeah.
To help them
Hmm.
work through all of those, whatever their the angst are, the friction.
The friction, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, do we have a bitch session
Eh, Yeah.
internally, like within the team?
Right.
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
But we do, and then because you kind of have to
You have to let
let
it
it
all
out of your
out.
system, right? And
Right.
then, okay, that's done. Put that aside. Let's get to
Right.
work.
We used to have those sessions here called Wednesday wind downs, but it was, WHINE over wine, wine over wine,
Yes, yes, wine over wine.
wine
Yeah,
over wine. Just so you could just vent. It's okay. Like you need to vent.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, so what's been, I mean, I know funding is the biggest challenge, but as far as for Pamano InnovaSphere, like what's been the other challenges? Have you is it just purely funding and just kind of getting the name and like the traction and the credibility out, or has there been any other um finding the right people? Is it any other challenges that you guys have
I think
crossed?
the probably the biggest challenge that I would say, and I wouldn't say it's a challenge even,
Mm.
it's a little bit of a hurdle,
Yeah.
um, and that is really to for because, well, let me back up. Our goal is to be the regional magnet,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so to do that, we have to have all the stakeholders, and that
Mm.
includes the lovely state of South Carolina,
Right.
to be a part of this structure.
Right.
To do that, we have to make sure that everybody understands what we're trying to build. Yes, we're in the
Yeah.
upstate, but really, this is really for the entire state.
Right.
And we're here for the entire state, for all the
Right.
counties that are ramping up or expanding their life science corridor, or whatever, or ag tech, digital health, whatever that means for the economic development groups.
Right.
And then statewide, that means really putting together the structure and showcasing that there is something here for companies to come to and have a landing ground, despite
Yeah.
of whether they're in the upstate or low country, or
Right.
midland.
Right. And if they're, you guys are grabbing people from like Switzerland or whatever of they might not choose the upstate to land. So
Yeah.
you need to have the state come or to go, hey, where's the best place
Yes.
for them to find a
Yes.
spot?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I talk to people all the time, just all the time.
Yeah.
And so when I travel and I go to Europe or have meetings with big pharma or whoever it is, I talk about what we have here,
Yeah.
and that really pings their curiosity. Number one
Yeah.
is like, oh, really? We've not heard of
Like
that.
South Carolina.
Exactly, exactly.
Because isn't what is it? Boston and Silicon Valley are like the two.
Boston, San Francisco, Seattle,
Okay.
even Chicago and Philadelphia are kind of in
Are
the.
some magnets there.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
this is like the first southern
Yes,
magnet.
and the
Okay.
Southeast region is primed to be. I mean, there's a study already, that
Yeah.
there's growth here, and it's going to continue, to
Yeah.
grow almost at 192% by
Whoa.
2060.
Well, think about it. It's like it's good weather. I mean, cost of living. I mean, it's from an attractiveness. It does appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a choice between them, I love Chicago and all, but if I had a choice between, oh, do I want to wear flip flops 9 months out of the year,
Yeah,
or do I want
exactly.
to bundle in a
Yeah.
Gore-Tex
Yeah.
jacket
Well, and we still have
6 months out of the
we
year?
have a big
Mm.
city
Well,
mentality, and but we're also still a small, village feel,
yeah.
and
Oh, I
that's the
like that
beauty.
village feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of South Carolina, really.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so what would you be doing if you had no fears?
If I had no
No
fears,
fears.
like none,
None.
who?
No worry about money, no worry about like somebody judging you.
I would have. I'd probably be doing exactly the same thing, but all over the world.
Ah, yeah.
Ideally, I would love to be able to build like opportunities for third world countries to have places, access for
Access.
care and
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff. That
Like getting these ideas, these
Yeah.
technologies, these solutions
Hmm.
to market faster.
Yep.
Hmm.
Around the world.
Around
I
the
want I
world.
want to cure the world. Yep.
Yes, you do. Ah. Um, if if you could change two things, this kind of leads into this, but if you could change two things about your business starting tomorrow, you got a magic wand, what two things would you want to have changed about the organization?
I probably would have learned a little bit more about the I'd say the environment from the economic development
Mm,
side of things. Not just county by county, but I'm talking about as a state.
yeah.
Uh, because
Is there a resistance there?
No, I don't think so. I think it's more
Like
education.
education
It's
and
more
information?
education, yeah,
Okay.
more education and information, because I think that uh would have allowed InnovaSphere to have less having to find, funding and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
To have the full support of the entire state. Really, that probably would be the one,
Hmm.
the biggest one, and probably um really that's it. That
That was
captures
eh,
both two that you're asking for.
the 1-2 punch. Okay,
Yeah,
so
one two
if we
punch.
met next February, which we'll meet before then, but and we went over cocktails, what would we be celebrating next February?
Oh man,
1 year from now,
one
what
year
would
from
we?
now.
Yeah.
Well, 1 year from now, I'd say one company would have had some sort of exit of some sort,
Ah,
or have been close to, or have a strategic partner that really takes them to, a national front of
to
things.
market.
Yeah, to
Mm,
market. And we would be celebrating probably our presence in Charleston and another county.
very good. Can you name the county? Is there like a hit of like?
Do I have
I
a
mean,
hit?
Charleston's obvious because of MUSC
Yeah.
and but is there another pocket of South Carolina that's kind of bubbling up
Uh,
besides? I mean, Greenville, the upstate, Spartanburg. But is there another one that's popping,
yeah, maybe
trending?
Greenwood.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a few.
Yeah.
I can name a few organizations and some systems there that
Yeah. Yeah. I
people
think,
don't really know about
yeah.
the stuff that's coming out
Yeah.
of
There's a lot
Greenwood.
there
There's a lot
that's
there.
very,
Progr- uh,
talk about a hidden treasure. That
yeah,
there's a lot there. And I think that would be the third.
that's ah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
I love it. All right. If you had to sum up your entrepreneurial journey in just one word, what would that word be and why?
Mm. Emergence.
Emergence. Why did you choose that? That's a fantastic word.
Because uh it comes down to my personality too, but I think there's so much to discover,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of
You're
it are not very well known, and I want, and a lot of it is really to serve the people, and I want to take it out of its hiding
uh,
place and emerge it into the world.
that is very you. And but I'll tell you, so I asked this question of, I mean, we've had hundreds of founders. I've not had a repeat word yet,
Wow.
but we all have similar,
Yeah.
themes and, but our journey is all very different of how we define it. And I love that one. That's a good one. It's very fitting. Um, okay. If you looked at the next chapter in your journey,
Uh-huh.
what word would you use to describe that next chapter?
Knowledge.
Hmm.
And here's why.
Uh,
My
yeah.
next chapter really
Yeah.
is to own multiple bookshops in lovely little villages with lots and
Ah,
lots of books, lovely
mm.
libraries
You're speaking
available
to my heart.
available to everybody,
Yeah.
especially, the young.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could own libraries, I would.
Oh,
I love
yes,
them.
totally. Me
I
too.
grew up in libraries. I grew up in libraries. I'm like, I love them.
Can I tell
Um,
you something?
yeah.
I saw this on Facebook, I think. There is an action figure
What?
from the 60s or the 70s of a librarian.
Are we sure it wasn't Diana Prince,
No,
like Wonder Woman, dressed as a
it
librarian?
was a librarian, and it was doing the
Shh.
I have to find that picture. I'll text it to you.
You need to. We'll need to find that action figure.
Yeah,
Bring it
I
back.
know. I wonder how much. Now that I said it, it's probably going to cost $1 million just to get it. But it's a librarian,
Well,
and it had she had books in her
the
arm,
book.
and then she was doing, and it's an action figure.
I wonder if it's like from Ghostbusters, like an action figure from the original Ghostbusters of the librarian.
Oh, could be,
I
could
wonder.
be. Oh,
Because,
okay.
they don't just make action figures out of, unless it's like, uh, my husband always teased because he always I didn't have any good stuff. Everyone had GI Joes. I had Army Pete, and GI Joes had the moving arms. Army Pete was stiff, like no,
Stuff.
they had no movement. And I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I had the generic Cabbage Patch dogs that were not like that were homemade from like my neighbor. That my mom was like, it looks like a Cabbage Patch. So I was like, Mom, there's no way this is this this yarn like amoeba shaped baby is nowhere near a Cabbage Patch. So yeah, and I was like, oh, I bet it was, maybe it was like a generic of Diana Prince. It wasn't Diana Prince. It was Jane Smith or something like that.
Oh my
The
gosh.
action figures
Yeah.
of growing up. So, um, what is something that we already know that you were, a hidden horticulturalist, but is there something that also would be surprising for our listeners to hear about you that's not on your resume, that's not on LinkedIn? You know,
Mm.
is there some hidden other than, well, I don't know, the librarian thing might be a pretty amazing
Or
secret
the
there.
horticulture thing.
Horticulture.
Yeah. Oh well.
You're like, I like the outside, but I want to be a horticulturalist. Like, what? I don't like dirt and sunshine.
um,
Ooh, rain, dirt. Ah,
I'll tell you. Let's see. I am not a very good swimmer.
like as in you don't know how to swim at all, or just not a
I
very
I can
talented? Because
I can I
most
can
people aren't very good
okay.
swimmers.
I can float. I can float. That's as far as I will
With just
go.
your head above, because you're like, I don't know
Yes,
how to even
yes.
docky
And
paddle.
here's
Okay.
why. It's because I grew up I was born in Puerto Rico and grew up in the Philippines and other places in Asia. Swimming is not the thing. We never we never well except in Japan, but even
Yeah.
then I was not exposed to swimming pools and swimming in rivers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
It's
I
so
can
fat.
float.
But you could put,
I
it's
can
so
float.
fat that you said that. I've just read some article or some story. A friend of mine from high school just, she went on their like 20th wedding anniversary, which was like a decade ago, whatever. And um, they went to Hawaii for a vacation, and then they decided we're not we're not leaving. And she got a job, and because she works in hospitals, she's an RN. She was like, I got a job immediately. She was like, her husband had to go back and like liquidate all his small business, all of their stuff. And so they've been out there for, now a decade. They were on the very first show of island life, like like the
Oh,
HGTV, but
yeah.
it was like the House Hunters,
Yeah.
but it was island life, and she was on, and it was Hawaii and other islands. They were the couple that were trying to find their home on an episode of that. I say all that because she posted a story that they are like the they're trying to put in their governing body of, we need swimming pools, like public swimming pools that teach Hawaii kids to
Floats.
learn to
Oh,
swim.
yeah.
Because she was like, they either, if you've come into the culture, either you've learned, you go in the ocean,
Yeah.
and that's how you, but there's a whole sector of the society that doesn't go into the ocean. They're either afraid or, what have you. They don't learn how to like properly swim, and there's no like public pools.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was fascinating. I'm like, what do you mean people don't know how to swim in Hawaii?
I know
And she
you
was
would
like,
think
they don't.
they
She was
don't
like, they don't. If they weren't, in, if their culture wasn't
go into the
to
ocean.
go into the ocean.
Yeah.
She was like, but there's a lot of people that don't. And so you'll have a lot of people that come into the hospital like to drown, that are drowning victims or
Yeah.
almost drowning victims. She's like, people don't even know how to float.
Well, I only learned how to float because I okay. I took
At the
swimming.
YMCA, did you like do a YMCA class?
I did a YMCA class. I mean, I did a little bit. I could do with the pool tube
The little pool
thingies.
noodle.
Yeah, pool noodle. See, I don't even know what you call it. But I learned how to float, so that's important.
That's right. That's right. Ah, I love it. All right. Sorry, that was funny. You're like, I could just see you picturing, and I'm here. I don't know how to paddle, but I can float. Um, is there so? Is there a piece of advice that you have received over the years from other leadership or other business owners that you really took to heart, and you share that with your um, founders in your sphere?
Yes, I always say I mean, for people in general, regardless, always find a mentor.
Yeah.
There is always something to learn from mentors.
Yep.
The other is, if going into the corporate side of things, and if you're a leader, it's okay to also get an executive coach.
Yes.
Yes,
You should never stop growing.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But the third most important thing is, if I recommend that you go get somebody to present, to help you present, please take me up on it, because I had to learn how to do it too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, totally.
Yeah. So get a mentor, which is key. And mentor or a coach or whatever, cuz I think those are two different
They
things.
are very
And I
different.
think you need both of them. I
Yes,
think you need to have mentors in your life, regardless of if you're a founder or just you're trying to grow as a professional in your
correct.
career.
That's right.
You need to have mentors that will provide you, that bounce ideas off of, that can kind of guide you. But then at some point, you do need a coach that now challenges you
Yeah.
in ways that you might not. And as I've had to learn from my this was an aha. I thought they were one and the same for so many years.
They're
And I
not.
had mentors that I thought that I was using as coaches. I was picking their brains and they were guiding me. But then I was like, oh, I need, I need a coach. And so and they're not like, so everybody listen, they are not the same.
That's right.
And the coach's job is to not necessarily be a mentor. They are there to extract what's in your brain, your heart, and it's to uncover ahas in yourself that you have to, but they're going to push on you and ask you some really tough questions. But they are so insightful, and you will have so many like aha moments, not just for yourself, but how do you apply those in business?
That's right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love that. So mentor, coach, got to have that. And then what was the second?
Oh, somebody to teach you how to present.
Somebody teach you how to present. Yeah. Because we all need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're going to, I don't care what role.
Doesn't matter.
In
Public speaking.
every phase of my career, I had to be in front of people speaking.
Yeah.
So it is.
It
is
does.
incredible.
Again, yeah. Learning how to. I mean, podcasting is, as you know, has been fun and actually is a
Right.
great practice for
Yes.
some, right? But
Right.
it's also informal, right?
Right. This is very informal. Like I've been on other podcasts where I felt like I've had to be on stage.
Yes.
And yeah, you have to prep a little bit more. I had to, have my notes like on the side because they were like, this isn't just you off the cuff. And I was like, ooh, okay, let me get my stage presence on. This is clearly not that type of podcast.
I love it.
Which is so much better.
So much better. So much better.
So much better. Yeah. But yeah, that's
and I mean, I'll be the first to say that I'm also not. I mean, we have to, and again, it depends on the audience and who you're presenting to, right?
Right.
And I'm not the best either. I mean, it requires practice,
right?
And
but you have to practice.
You have to practice,
because you probably have to spend 10,000 hours on that.
Oh yeah,
because especially if you're not like Chandler's. Like Chandler's. We've talked about. It's when you're an introvert, it is like some of us, it takes a lot to get us to that point.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
He's
gonna like run the world here in about 5 years because he's got it in him. I love that advice. So one last question for you. Is there like a favorite book or a podcast? Is there like a go-to source for that you for just inspiration or more knowledge? Or are you one that goes into the library like me and I'm like, what are the latest like business books that I keep seeing people post and I'm going to peruse these?
Yeah. I have two go-tos. One of them is Marianne Williamson, which is A Course in Miracles.
Oh, yeah. I have not heard of that one. I'm gonna have to put that on my list.
It's like it came out like 90s, I think, late 90s. But I started reading it probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's one of those pages where dog-eared and outlined and highlighted, little notes on the side. Yes, I go to it quite frequently for just it's almost like a meditative, spiritual enlightenment book for me if I just need to kind of reset.
Right.
And the other one is, and it's been around for a while, and it's Make Your Bed.
What?
Yeah. It's written.
Chandler's nodding too. Okay, so I've not heard of that book either. Yeah. So who Make Your Bed?
Yes. It's written by a Navy SEAL, and
did he do a like not a TEDx, but was he like a speaker at a college and and I've seen it go. Is that the one where he talks about that's the discipline of like make your bed, it will set Yeah.
Set your
Okay.
day. It sets your
Set your
day.
day.
Hmm.
I didn't know it was. I didn't know he wrote
He
a
wrote a
book.
book
I've just
first.
seen
Yeah.
the the video
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
his speech, which is a powerful
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah.
Um,
And then, and that's more of to again, it's one of those where I go to
yeah.
it. I don't read it all the time, but when I go to it, it's a reset for me. For
Yeah.
as again, as a founder entrepreneur, you have days where you're
That's right.
just,
There,
you just need a little oomph or
you get the lows and the
yep,
highs.
exactly. And those are my go-to. I have a library here at the house, and I have others that I go to. But
That
those
you
are the
just
two that I tend to pick up
I
whenever
love
I
it.
need to.
Well, that is I love it. We have to like list that out for everybody.
Yep.
But I'm amazed at how fast these things go,
I know.
Cecilia. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming on. Before we go, where do you want people to connect with you, learn more about InnovaSphere or about you? Where do you want to send them?
I want to send them to InnovaSphere. InnovaSphereSC.org is our website, and you can catch me there. Send an email through that, and I'll get to you. You'll get to me.
Perfect. That's right.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll find you.
Yes. Yes. You
We'll
can
hunt you
find
down.
me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a hard face to not remember. I mean,
That's right. Oh, thank you so much. This was a
thank you.
fantastic show, and I love the conversation.
Thank you
Ah,
so much. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
you are so welcome. And for everyone listening or watching, thank you for joining us. This podcast will be available always at your favorite podcast platform. So subscribe to Hello Chaos, give us a shout. A 5-star review on Apple or Spotify would be great. And share this great content and help us build a more connected entrepreneurial community. Hello Chaos is one of the many resources brought to you by Orange Whip. That is Orange Whip, WIP for work in progress, because that's what we all are. Orange Whip is a multimedia company dedicated to serving founders and entrepreneurs in affiliate cities. We're in 3 South Carolina markets today, looking to expand to other cities because every city needs an Orange Whip. We've designed hyperlocal media platforms to inform, inspire, and be the independent connective tissue between founders and the local entrepreneurial ecosystem. We've done all the hard work for founders. They all need to go to one trusted source to find the local information they need, from curated calendars, dynamic roadmaps, the chatter of the of juice that's happening in that local market. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast or support us, send us an email to hello@orangewhip.com. Thank you for tuning in to Hello Chaos. It is where aha meets oh shit, and we will see you again next week.